Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about 7 things that I quit after 50. I had to really think long and hard about this because these things that I quit so that I could become more of my true self. I think that for so many of us who are used to climbing the ladder higher, that the paradigm shift of actually going deeper requires a lot of courage. And as a radical liver, and in my radical living challenge, these are the things that I wanted to share, right? So number one is this, and it's really big, and it's really taken me 5 years to lock it in, and it's hard. But one thing that I've quit, number one, is I have honestly quit giving a fuck. Not in the I don't care sort of a vibe, like apathy or like resenting, like in the, like I don't give a fuck. Not in the way that has armored me up, but rather the one thing that has been my guiding principle in implementing the art of having no more fucks to give is this. And it is that it is not your job, it's not my job to correct other people's impressions of me. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Because I've been spending my whole life, like if someone didn't like me, love me, a client was mad at me, like I couldn't create success for every single person, if my kids were upset, if anybody had an impression of me that wasn't like in this idea of perfection that I was striving for, I would like obsess, right? So when I finally figured out, like, it's not my job to correct other people's impression of me, like, whew, it was so freeing. Okay, so the second thing that I have quit after 50 to become more of myself is I quit shopping. So here's the thing. What I realized, and this was so profound for me and kind of embarrassing, but so when I was in the prime of my business and I was like making all this money, I had always struggled with like my weight, and I had an eating disorder in my 20s. I was an exercise bulimic. I mean, I was the person who was like, I wish I could just be bulimic. It would be so much easier. Or I wish I could be anorexic. And so I constantly struggled with my weight. My size went up and down. And so when I started to make a lot of money, and I was in the prime of my career, I lived in Los Angeles, and I was like, I want to fit in and belong. And so to do that, I will look the part of the like successful woman. And I just bought clothes. What I consumed, I felt would fill a hole in my soul. And I grew up learning that more is better. Right. And so I was told, like, if I did this, and I believed that, like, if I spend, the universe is going to send me more money, and, I would just buy whatever. And so I stopped that shit. Right. And so now I don't wander into a store ever and buy anything aimlessly because it's cute or it looks cool, or even like if it looks good on me. Right. Because when I lost weight or I got better shape, like everything looked cute. And I was like, wow, like I just wanted to look like Nicole Kidman. So these days, how I do it is I buy things that I truly need. And I did so much spiritual work on the difference between what do I need and what I want. Because what I want sometimes is, and need is luxury, or convenience, but it's a conscious decision. I buy things that are usually experiences that allow me to express myself at a soul level. Or experiences that help me grow and learn as a person, or feel pleasure or joy or connect to someone else or myself. So yeah, I quit shopping. Number 3 that I quit is I quit taking time for granted. There was this moment where it really hit me. My mom had died at 64. I was 55. And I asked myself, like, if I had 9 more years to live, do I want to spend it holding tightly to like the things that I have? Do I want to be afraid of change? do I want to continue to be nostalgic for the past? And the answer was no. Like, I didn't want to take time for granted. I didn't want to be in what I call time denial. I wanted to move past the emotional museum that my house had become where my kids grew up. And so I quit taking time for granted. I quit doing things back to back, not having spaciousness, for not appreciating downtime or time to recover. So yeah, I quit taking time for granted. I know now that every single day is super precious and valuable. And I really strive to live this and be this. And when I realized, when I was doing my life design process that I teach people, that all of my peak experiences in my life were like these fleeting moments, and mostly like when I was on a vacation, I realized like that is not a meaningful life, right? And so I knew it was time to start digging in and designing a life that felt like a vacation every day, even when I was working. Okay, I think this is 4. I quit responding immediately when I get triggered. And this is somewhat connected to having no more fucks to give, but it's slightly different. Here's why. Back in the day, I used to feel compelled to respond to like every DM, every message, every verbal accusation. Like before I could even begin to like feel the blood boiling, the need to correct or defend or respond was like instantaneous. I didn't have a pause button. I lashed out. I made really super quick decisions. And sometimes I even tried to beat shame, like by hurling shame upon someone else. So these days, I can feel the sensation and it's familiar, and I can trace it back to that little girl who wanted to be the golden child. And I could take a breath and I close my eyes, and through meditation, this has really helped. And I just let the feeling like surge through me, because a feeling can never last longer than 90 seconds if you don't keep agitating it with thought. And then I sort of like breathe, and then I can kind of take a pause and figure out what I want to do. It allows my like adult brain, my prefrontal cortex, to kind of come back online. So now, like in a conversation or when I get an email, and I feel that certain kind of way, I sort of wait. And I really make a conscious choice more often than not about how I want to respond. Which is much better than having to like clean up messes afterwards. I don't do it perfectly, by the way. Okay, next. This has been like my whole book that I wrote, which I think is back there, is literally my journey in this. But I quit putting the needs of other people before mine, even when the other person is struggling. That used to be like my Achilles heel. Like if someone was doing worse than me or suffering or going through something or having a lot of emotions, it was the pain like inside of me, right? This was one of the most challenging things to quit. I didn't even realize the extent of this behavior until like I was 56. I'm 58 now. And I grew up believing like I am independent, strong, resourceful, capable. So like I can put my needs aside. I can handle this shit. And I would twist myself into a pretzel so that someone else wouldn't feel pain or discomfort. So starting to say no and even watching someone struggle, even when I know I can do it myself in 30 seconds, do you feel, is really hard work. But I've learned to think of it this way. So I'll share this with you. My needs are not necessarily more important than yours, but they are surely as important as yours. And once I really like emotionally, cellularly realize that it's normal to have competing needs with other people and that I don't always have to take the loss in every situation, I'm better. I'm better at responding to these experiences rather than doing like what my mom taught me I should do. when I reflect back and I think of all the experiences I didn't say yes to, or I waited my turn and then there was nothing left because I put other people before myself, it's kind of staggering. Leave a comment if you can relate to that. Okay. The other thing I quit to become more my true self is I quit trying to get there faster. I grew up thinking more is better, faster is better, higher is better. I always wanted to finish my homework faster. I wanted to finish a book faster, run faster, ski faster, complete a task faster, walk faster, efficiency. I was like always looking for hacks. Like I can even feel it in my body now when I'm like filling out a form or whatever. I'm just like, So now I am a proud member of what I call the Slow AF Club. I don't even know if there's a club, but I would totally run for president if there was, because I want to create that spaciousness. I want to linger in the journey. I want to savor and delight. I want to be where I am. And when I'm rushing through life, I'm not being where I am. And that sucks because right now is all I have. So I want to stop competing with time, basically. So here's how that looks. I don't apologize for my slow gait or for being last or for taking extra time. I just am slow AF. In fact, I'm also less annoyed in general waiting for others. Funny story about that is I live in a ski town and I got some new ski gear and I told the person who's helping me pick it out, I was like, look, here's the thing. I go slow. So I just want like a really bright color. So when all of my friends and everyone I ski with is waiting for me, they can see me on the mountain and be like, oh, here she comes. Right. Okay. Last but not least, I quit fighting with life. Oh man. Life has given me some lemons, big ones, little ones. And there's little tiny daily lemons, right? But here's the thing. I stopped making lemonade out of those lemons. I stopped trying to like toxic positivity myself, to find the silver lining, to bullshit myself into flipping the script or reframing. Instead, I sort of subscribe to one universal rule, and that is we will get upset when we get what we don't want. We will get upset when we don't get what we want. And it's that simple because shit literally like that happens every day, a lot. So now what I try to do is I look at the lemons as the big ones, as a big neon sign from the universe. Like, how is this lemon turd here to help me heal a part of myself? And when the lemon turds that look the same come again and again, I ask myself, and this is such a hard question, but why do I keep creating this? I mean, that is the ultimate form of personal responsibility, right? Like, if I believe that life is 100% happening for me, and now I get that, even when it doesn't feel good, I drop my shoulders, I get really curious, I get humble, I ask for help or insight. Sometimes even I get excited that as a result of living a radical life on my own terms, I have new challenges to grapple with, and that if I face that challenge with open arms, I'm preparing myself to be transformed or to transform. Like I stop resisting. So there's still some things, by the way, that I'm not ready to quit. I don't know if I ever will be. Things like coloring my hair, taping out my titties so I can wear a dress that makes me feel super hot, eating s'mores, refusing to pee in front of my husband after 16 years. I'm not ready to quit that. And then there's some things that I refuse to start. And that's a couple of things that I just am not going to start saying these things. And that's aging for you, or that's just what happens when you get older, or, well, I'm not as young as I used to be, or I can't do that anymore, or I'm too old to. F that. So yeah, those are these things that I have quit in my 50s. I'd love to hear what you have quit. Leave a comment if any of these resonate or you have a different opinion. leave a comment, subscribe. If you're in a community of women who don't like being called elders and who are ready to make their next chapter their best chapter, they just don't know how, share this with them. Subscribe. See you next time. Bye.